It's a lovely little spot, this. I don't know if anybody else does call it Llanbath Beach. I've always known it to start all the years I've lived here.
This spot's always full of kids.
It's like Wigan Pier.
Running and
I
jumping
saw an otter in the harbour after the storms.
I mean, what you've got here is a
other
nice
week.
meander in the river, isn't it?
And it's funny, everything we see along the river down here, it's all kind of governed by human need as well. It's not like a river that's just found its own way.
Over there, you've got an example of the sort of hard engineering that's often adopted to try and prevent flooding.
You're very interested in the train again?
Middle of the day, 12:30, there was an otter in the harbour. Yeah.
So, like, even something as seemingly natural as this river is totally regulated, really.
What you've got here is a floodplain, and there's been building taking place on the floodplain, which is likely to make flooding worse.
You see it now.
And the response.
It's a living creature. It feels alive, just the movement of it, the movement of the water.
Like muscles rippling under the skin.
So just to physically create something like that, you've got to do quite a lot of engineering.
Well, first of all, it was built for carrying the, stuff from the lead mines and the timber during the First World War.
And we have got quite a few patches of this pernicious alien Japanese knotweed. You've got it here.
It's constantly moving and shifting like human emotions do, and the way we all feel.
Quite a lot of like things that you wander around and you think, oh, it's pretty, which it is, but it's an interaction of what you see and what we've done. Is that the
Not
train?
so much the ripples, the sort of knitting, like the wrinkles on skin.
I sometimes think our confusion as people is down to the fact that we've messed around with the rivers so much. Like you say, we moved them, they don't know where they are anymore.
And then it came for passengers, of course, didn't it? By today's tourists, didn't it?
Remains to be seen what's going to happen in the future, but I think long term we're onto a loser with that kind of attempt to prevent flooding.
It needs protection just as a human being would. So there is that sense of the landscape being, it's a friend, it's a neighbour, it's on the same kind of emotional level as we are.
So there's loads of examples around here of weird things that are not really as natural as they look.
Once you start looking, you realise there is more of it.
When they built
It's this, yeah.
Rheidol now from Aber, 1904 it was.
I mean, most of our landscape is managed here.
The other element to this is the bryophyte-rich, i.e. moss, liverwort-rich woodlands further on,
Well, first of all you see is your reflection, that
which act as giant sponges.
says you're quite a vain person.
Plans have been mooted to reintroduce beavers into the
Soaking up the rain and then releasing it slowly.
The way we manage this sort of land actually doesn't really do these rivers much good.
They put the track certain width now, and they went along.
They would help that process because they naturally kind of engineer.
It's interesting, people's response to change, isn't
They
it?
fell small trees and they create pools and
And they finally found out
across the flood
it was too wide
and hold all that water back.
because they'd have to pay tax.
So that would have been
And of course the fishermen were up in arms. And
part of the solution to that process. But
If it was narrower, they'd get
it's
away with
something
it.
new that they're not familiar with. This quite large mammal. It's their way.
And I have to say, observation from some conservationists,
And they don't like the sound of their trees
some of these
being
trees
gnawed
that
by
have rare lichens and mosses
yeah,
growing
whether it's
on.
elephants in India or beavers in Cumbraeg or wolves in France.
There are
it's the
other
same
kind
sort
of ideas in the Welsh folklore of that the sound that we can hear, because we can hear the river kind of up behind us, that's also the voices and the sound of the people who've stood in this spot as well before us standing here.
Yn hedd yr hen lechweddu ar ei bwys, ymysg y blodau gwyllt ar adar man, mi dreiliais febyd uwch ei lendyd glwys a goslef fwy neu afon loiw lan. Eisteddais droion tan y dderwen werdd i'w foli gyda chan am lawer awr. Ond nid oedd modd disgrifio yn y gerdd am holl ogoniant hwn i lan na lawr. y dyffryn hardd godidog, llawn o hyd, a greuodd yn fy mhen rhyw fath o ddawn I ganu ac i'w garu'n fwy o hyd. Nes cael fy llygaid arno debyg iawn. A wenydd annwyl, pan y tewa fi, gadawsaf swyn y dyffryn iddo ti.
I've spent a few years working here in the mid-70s. I was working as a shepherd for Love's Grove.
Well, I find this quite positive, really, this area, and that they're allowed, the river's being allowed to move as it wants to move across the valley floor, altering its course over time.
Yes, well, the river caused probably more problems than it solved at a particular time between the erosion of the banks and this, that and the other.
We're in a much more natural area than what we saw further down, aren't we?
It looks like there's some gorse on it. Yeah.
You really get the sense of this being a floodplain now, from where we're standing.
Sheep or cattle going into the river.
Love's Grove,
it keeps it in a circle.
Gatley and
stops
Harrows,
it stops
nature
vegetation
reserve.
developing.
On the side of the A44.
In 1947, this area was full of dead sheep.
It's wrong that people be old as well.
Hundreds of dead sheep floating down the river.
At the moment,
There's a lot of cover
river's
here,
quite
isn't
high.
there? You can imagine an otter lying.
Yeah, well, on Saturday there was no water there at all. Sunday the trees were completely.
the shingle banks,
It just happened overnight.
which are one of the most important features of
The river
site.
was on the other side, further away. And
Tussocks of Coxford aren't there, and there's some docks. And
flooding is
soft run.
caused now by, well, the river's gone out of control to a certain extent.
The natural life changes as soon as you.
Feel a pendula.
These shingle
As
banks
soon as
are
the water
important
comes
for a
in, it
range
comes
of
over the tree.
beetles, spiders.
I'm not very happy with the way that the
five
water is
spot
coming out here now, and it's coming out causing problems on the roads.
It's just getting red
Quite a
top.
lot of Yorkshire
You
fog.
get a different kind of soundscape as well when the land itself changes, when the water starts invading the land.
Would be happy if I could see the moorhen back again by the side of the road.
And the continual shifting of the shingle from the movement to the river.
But in terms of species diversity, it often goes down because it gets dominated by these
It's an invade, it's quite a natural kind of process.
Probably is cuckoo flowers.
The other things that spring to mind are
where they go with the
flood,
when it floods.
flooding.
It's anybody's guess. Perhaps they climb up the vegetation.
Yes, a tussock crawling grass. It's got a fold.
On the 5th of August 1973, there was a serious cloudburst in the Plynlimon area.
People trying to get the river to go where they want it to go and it completely refusing to. It's going to break out, it will break the banks.
In fact, it had denuded the rock
You've got another buttercup.
above that. So it means that there hadn't been any flood of that nature for
Tall oak
I'd say
grass.
hundreds of years.
It's like that point where the river's trying to make a choice, isn't it? Which way to go.
That particular flood destroyed two
And
dams.
the flow of the river here is quite fast.
Wild Angelica.
But apparently Rheidol means swift moving.
Again, I reiterate because that sort of level of water hadn't been there for, I would say, hundreds of years.
People going out at night and never reappearing again. They fall into
The
swamps,
ground
they fall into soil.
that I've seen has denuded. The rate of growth is very slow up there, so that would have taken a long time to go over that drop.
That's Greek Mary grass.
Plantain.
Phalaris arundinosa.
And I was working at Love's Grove, and there were cattle. Did about half
This
a
is
mile
a moss,
upriver.
which back in my days we called Caliego cuspidata, but I suspect it's changed.
And we had to rescue a few of them. Quite a dangerous operation on that particular day.
The Rheidol Valley is quite well known for its sightings of corpse captures.
But that, I reckon that flood to be, nothing had been like that for a very long time.
And if you don't tell people what's important about science,
In the autumn of 1886, all the bridges were destroyed.
the site's less likely to be protected one way or another.
One of those things that have been for since time immemorial, and then
Because people generally have
it
to
will be here long after we've gone.
come to value these sites. If there's to be any political pressure for nature conservation, individual people have to realise the value of these places.
Awn am dro uwch dyffryn Rheidol, lle mae natur mor ddymunol. Mae'r olygfa'n ddiarhebol am ei cheinder mad. Nid oes man yn ynys Prydain am ei dlysni yn fwy cywrain. Bryniau glwys a dolydd Llydain llawn o bob mwynhad. O olygfa'r hyfryd, anian yn llawn bywyd yn addurno'r dyffryn llawn. Popeth a gawn yn fwynbryd. Gerddi a pherllannau llaunion, teg aneddau boneddigion, coedydd hardd ac i'r blanhigion, gorau y holl wlad. Y mae'r bryniau serth a'r broedd i ni heddiw fel y newydd, cefn Bangor fel gwyliedydd mor nofelau ddew. Glan Rhytunoeth a chwmwythig, troi rhyw las, hyn fferm o zedig, tan y cnwch a chwm y cothig sy'n goedwigoedd byw. Abernant ar Gamlin, felyn fawr gyferbyn, neuad fawr ar hen dinant sydd draw ym Mhant y Dyffryn. Tillwyd ucha, tillwyd isa, pont ffrwd ddi a pont pren plwca, hawdd i'w croesi draw ac yma a chael pen y rhyw. Toaf nawr at y ffordd heiarn nad yw ond llinell fechan a'r gerbydles bach yn datgan, dyma fi yn dod. O lan y môr i bont ar fynach, ôl a blaen a dim ymhellach, mae'r hen Ddyffryn yn fywiocach nag y bu erioed. Glo a chalch a dynion, Cymru glân a Saeson, merched ieuanc, merched hen, ddaw gyda'r tren yn union i gael gweled Dyffryn Rheidol, pont yr fynach a'r diafol, a'r gyfarllwyd ddiarhebol. Dyma fel mae'n fod.
The tale.
We want to anthropomorphise all the time. We want to make, it's a way of making nature a little bit more acceptable and
A lot of phosphorescence.
less scary.
But there was a body.
We can't resist seeing patterns and pictures.
A man drowned high up on Plynlimon, high up above Nantamore. He fell into the river and his body was washed down to this area.
When we were first here, I didn't sleep at all well.
Water horses.
Yeah, they're quite scary creatures too.
They're dark creatures.
Other disasters have happened around Devil's Bridge area, haven't they? So it's over the period they've fallen over the...
They would hang around by the edges of rivers.
Well, you would expect them to sort of blend into the water.
People fell into the river. They, of course, they fell into the river.
Creating white horses as it would be in the sea.
But it's almost like a horse's head.
So you actually get an idea that there could be white horses there.
But I would say I don't have a particularly good relationship with water.
There have been fatalities. Morgan, I think it's happened from Morgan from Tiescotta, I think, up in, well, way above that.
If I lived here, sometime I would walk into that pool. It would draw.
So you get certain areas, rapids like this, where you actually get a white horse.
It can look plain and dead.
And there are people who feel that the water
And I
draws
have a
them.
sort of healthy respect for
The cattle door invariably white horses.
1800s sometimes.
They would wait by the side of the river. A traveller would come along, they'd look at the rapids like this and wonder how on earth they were going to try and get over the river.
But underneath it's teeming torrent.
animals would be off their feet very quickly.
And the horses would kind of bend down. The man would climb on the back.
If I remember correctly, he was his daughter was doing some like seamstress work.
Apparently, you should all sleep with your feet parallel with the main water
The
source.
horse would take off and it would carry on going up.
And he had gone with her to carry the sewing machine back.
And then it would shake the person on the back of the horse and the person would fall to the ground.
And of course, at certain times of the year, the witches are
Swallow you up very quickly.
And then the horse would feast on what was left.
The river was used and respected by people.
That's not that some of the stories are there to make sense of that, or to allow us to make sense of it in ourselves, to allow us to be aware of who we are.
Or they pull you back to a more natural sort of life when everybody lived in the middle of the nature.
That's the natural resources.
From anything else, somewhere to wash your clothes.
This little moment shows you what that could mean, why there could be a story.
Took it for granted.
We just think it's as it
Used
should
it.
be.
But they're very close.
There's the white horse that we think of as being by the sea.
Y Rheidol fer ei rhediad, a welaf yn hwylio'i cherddediad, Plynlimon dan goron gad yn chwanog i'w chychwyniad. I gychwyn a gwedd gichiog a'i rhediad trwy rydau cerygog, tro byllau is creigiau crog, ymleda'n aml oediog. Pwynt arwaf fan Ponterwyd, a enyn yw gwyneb wyllt fywyd, cynddaredd yw gwedd a gwyd, yn ryllio greu cyfarllwyd. Ei harfull a'i chwyrn hyrddiad, ewynaw ga enyn fawrygiad. O, campus ydyw cwympiad, ffrydlif hoff yr Rheidol fad. O'i nwyd byw, hi newid ei byd, a daw o'r diwedd i hawddfyd. Hi orwedd mewn hedd ar ei hyd yn lifrau y grisial hyfryd. Hi leda ar 10 gwaelodion, dolyd di-ail eu cynhyrchion, a brieill li ebryll lon, glysant ei glannau gleision. Mor swynol ar y dolydd, i'w rhodio ar hyd ei cheilenydd, o lan ei dŵr, gwel lun y dydd, o'n blaenau yn dras blenydd. Llun coedydd yn llwyni cydiol, adar o nodwedd amrywiol, a llethrau'r bryniau breiniol lunia ar ddefn lynau'r ddôl. Trwy odiaeth bwynt ei rhediad, hi dafla ei diflin ddylanwad, o lwynio'n amryw luniad, drin blaid wrth fynd drwy'n gwlad.
Well, I started work in a power station there in 1961.
I used to go down to my grandparents in Aberystwyth, a place called Cyfier.
And that was the highest pay you could get around here, beating everywhere. And £8 a week I was bringing home.
They had electricity as far as light was concerned, but nothing else.
Where the lake is now on your right when you came up, well, the old road used to go almost the other side of that. It was only the width of the river.
Their neighbours then had a telly, which was something quite new to me at the time.
Yeah, that used to be a huge field there, you see.
I used to go down there, and then to go there on a Saturday.
Oh, well, yes, there's a lot of difference. The scheme was a good thing, you know, because, I mean, we had a good road here. We didn't have water supply before the scheme. All electric.
And an hour before the bus went, there was a Lone Ranger was on the telly. So that was something quite extraordinary.
And the locals had work there.
But that hydroelectric scheme was made by a chap called William Morgan from Tinreed in Aberystwyth, and obviously the machinery is still there down in the River Rheidol.
Although there's a lot of petitions against it when it was first.
So he supplied his farm and the village of Aberystwyth with electricity, going back a long time ago.
This is a very 18th century thing to do somehow, isn't it?
Or the old people, you know, didn't want to change, you know, but they soon changed their minds in a couple of years.
They didn't need to make it.
They changed their minds. They put the valley on the map.
The only thing when I was wanting to see the Lone Ranger, he wanted to start milking.
You know, there's my hillside with just the right number of sheep poised on it, you know.
So the thing would go round and round and round and round and round and spoils all everything. But then, yeah, that's something that happened because of the electricity from the River Rheidol.
I've actually got a good advertisement one.
Well, first of all, it comes from Nantamoch to the tunnel there. It's, what is it? That's 9 foot diameter.
It's an innate thing in human nature. We've got to make a nice one. It's got to look right.
And it comes along to a shaft then. And then the shaft then, about, I don't know what it does is now, is about 200 feet drop. That's where they get the pressure.
Kind of make some kind of creative art out of what we're seeing.
To turn the turbine in it.
It might be an idea to put turbines again in the gorge.
One of the great challenges is seeing it anywhere.
Totally out of sight, totally anywhere.
See what the landscape is telling you.
Generation up in Dinas power station.
What wildlife is there, 4 hares and 4 foxes.
Another tunnel then coming down to here. This is 9 foot diameter.
They get told by someone in Düsseldorf who's watching the stock market, the stock price.
And this shaft up there, that's 300 feet, I know.
They then bring down to here.
That's 300 pounds per square inch pressure.
You get told the times that are best for generating.
The whole thing went. It would flood this valley up to about the level of the railway.
When they lit it up, that was a big attraction.
And it was all controlled from the control room here.
Balance that against the tide, rainfall, very quickly.
At the bottom of each dam, there's a compensating set.
And then work out the best time to generate to maximise the price.
You've got to have water to feed the river around your compensating flow.
Like a tsunami wave and just would wash everything.
It was going through this little set.
Well, it'd only be there for a couple of minutes probably. And then
It was generating there, wasting a bit of drop of water.
But the whole thing would have to break.
And those compensating sets, there were 2 of them.
Dam busters.
I think Nantamore was 50 kilowatts and the Dinas then was 75 kilowatts.
Take girlfriends up there and, that or something big.
It's the same landscape as you see.
And they were running non-stop.
This is the picturesque one, isn't it?
They only stopped for maintenance and down again.
You can see on in the tourist brochures.
This whole space is either meant for growing trees or for growing sheep, isn't it?
The last generator is down at the bottom of the lake here.
But actually, a large part of what this whole space is doing now is growing electricity.
That doesn't work from the pressure, it works from the weight of water, doesn't it?
Almost every aspect of the land is being farmed inside.
You see, it's 1 megawatt it is.
When I'm walking through this valley, I don't feel like so much as I'm surrounded by nature, but I'm as much part of a sort of factory.
And the question is that a problem?
They reckon 5 years, that 1 megawatt paid for the whole scheme.
There again, I still maintain
8 million. It cost 8 million, the scheme cost.
electricity produced by water is, I think, one of the best methods.
All this lovely grass and trees and reflective water.
The whole lot. 8 million. The roads, dams, generators, everything.
It's still productive, it's just producing something different. In this case, it's producing a response by you.
It's all for I know, and I can't understand why this country sold these things out. It's strange to me, I don't understand it.
Mae rhyw hyd a lledrith yn dyllethrau mwyn, yn swyno fy nghalon a denu fy nhrwyn, i ddilyn dy lwybrau yn bellach o hyd, ac afadref yn fochgoch yn fodlon fy myd. Mae rhyw hyd a lledrith yn dyllethrau serth, a throedi af dy lwybrau nes colli pob nerth, ond nôl y dof eto, mae hynny yn siŵr, at drydar dy goedwig a mwmial dy ddŵr.
Look at the landscape being alive and speaking to you.
But it's about 1902.
I went to the mouth of this cave.
It's unbelievable.
I don't know what it was.
Basically, they were cons, really.
There was something really freaky around this cave.
I suppose maybe at that time prices were high.
And what they see
I poked my head in. It was so dark inside.
I think it was like a bubble.
And there was something there. I was
they went in there.
absolutely convinced there was something in
What
there.
you
and I
see
think
at
what I was
Rheidol mine is
wooden ladder was still
orange
hanging.
discoloration, and that is iron hydroxide.
They just invested and invested and invested.
Iron isn't really the problem in terms of the impact of the
A few
river.
weeks later, I was talking to a
It
friend,
wasn't the level of material that they thought.
and she found the same cave.
There was at least 7 endpoints in the valley.
Yeah, we've got a database which has 1,300 abandoned metal mines on it throughout
You see the
Wales.
spoil of them all over the place.
And I think it ended up, because they still wanted lead, it started off as a silver mine very early on.
She said there were little creatures with bright lit eyes.
The main problem is the metals, in particular zinc, lead, cadmium.
And she was said, it's till the day, don't, good job you didn't go.
The river Rheidol fails the standard of zinc all the way from the Rheidol mine
There were children working in some of the mines.
all the way down to the sea at
Just
Aberystwyth.
because I don't see something.
Boiling like punch for the devil may have made her a romantic drama queen.
4 to 5 tons of zinc a year.
But all the way down, the rough and tumble urchin and
And
dirt.
about 200 kilograms of lead.
When they brought in the laws banning children from working underground,
About 10 kilograms of cadmium.
Lead leached from the screen, left dead girls
3 tons of iron.
and dull-eyed children.
because the inspectors would only come round periodically and everybody in the area would know they were on their
When the
way.
whole slope was maggoty with mines.
So they would, the children wouldn't be in the mines on the day, when the inspector was coming
Zinc
along.
concentrations in the river are about 20 times the Water Framework Directive standard.
Because they weren't just sending their children down the mine for the sake of it, were they? It was like an economic
Tunnels
necessity.
under the tumulus, flesh of the hills flayed under the ravens.
Fish downstream from Rheidol mine appear to be very tolerant of...
I think they were mainly animals.
Flushed from the roots, below barrack block and burrowing
They
shaft.
wouldn't let women down there.
The river ran more colours than a rainbow.
The women's worked on the surface.
Even now, when the earths are stopped and stinking foxfire opals of iron are only scars.
Basically hammering away at all day.
So there's a generator.
They're interesting areas.
Generate the electricity and then...
They're turning the ore into the
Some
usable
fear
metal.
what lies beneath, huddled in deep mud.
And a processing unit which would pass the electrical current through the mine water using an anode and a cathode.
They could just do what they wanted there.
The anode would effectively dissolve,
Because they didn't have to get permission.
releasing magnesium in the mine
This
water.
soil has been here for over 100 years.
React with the zinc in the mine water.
If you owned the land, you could do what you bloody well wanted with it. No one was going to tell you that you
Nothing
couldn't.
could grow on it because it's so toxic.
Like you could just tell people that they were cutting their wages. And
Process of co-precipitation to precipitate all those metals from the mine water.
Making their money hundreds of years
landowners,
ago.
all the big houses owned a lot of the land.
Exploiting workers
But I
in
do remember the
terrible
combine.
conditions
There's
underground.
Antioch, Geogherafon,
Building their great mansions like Nantes,
And what he was doing,
Trascoy and other
all
ones.
the land was owned by the same few people, and they just wanted to make as much money out of it as
he was
possible.
carting the spoil, and the drivers to come out and lift us up and put us on top in the middle of the spoil. And there we were having a lift to
The
school.
contamination that has been caused is still here, and society is paying the price for cleaning that up even now.